We're TB testing. We do have bovine TB in New Mexico. We come out every 90 days and test. There's 4 dairies in the complex and 4 heifer facilities, so we test about 22,000 head every 90 days. You got hairless skin in the tail web, so we inject them in the skin, just like when we get a TB test and they inject us in the skin, and then we get them back in 3 days and look for response. We missed out on May because of COVID, so we're trying to get caught back up. So we go through and we tuberculin inject every animal that's over 90 days old, and then read them in 3 days. And so we're out here for about 2 weeks at a shot. We've got a team here that's combined livestock board employees. We have 3 veterinarians, myself included, and that we get help from the livestock inspectors, and then the rest of these guys are from USDA Veterinary Services, and we partner with them. It's a federal program, and since we're such a small agency, we need more veterinarians to help. When we come onto a facility like this, we put RFID radio frequency ear tags in the ears of all the cattle, and it helps us keep track better of all the cattle on each premise. And the wand he's waving reads the tag. He's got a Palm Pilot that records the identification. First trip out, we give them their electronic tag, and we record all the metal tags, all the farm tags, any form of ID hanging in their ears. And dairy cows tend to have a lot more jewelry hanging from their ears than the beef cattle do. You know, some of these are purebred, so they have different kind of tag, but we record all their herd numbers, the RFID number, the metal tag numbers, so we can keep track of them. Animals will lose tags, so we want everything identified, so if they lose the radio frequency tag, we can still identify them for who they are.
In the late 1800s, there were fever tick problems coming out of Texas. The producers of New Mexico were dealing with those issues, a serious disease outbreak caused by the fever tick, brucellosis, in livestock. And so the producers of the state got together and formed the Livestock Board in order to fight that disease, and created the inspection process that monitored cattle coming out of Texas strictly to keep that disease from spreading into and decimating the livestock industry in New Mexico. And so that was around 1897. And at the time, we were a law enforcement agency then, and we still are. We inspect about 2.5 million head of livestock a year, and that would be with a team of 50 full-time inspectors and about 60 part-time inspectors statewide. And so that's at sale barns, that's at dairies, ranches, feedlots, farm pastures, everything. We have two separate categories of inspectors. About 25 of our full-time employees are law enforcement officers, and about 25 of them are strictly brand inspectors. And so the ones that are law enforcement officers, within a year of their hire date, they have to be entered into the police academy. Larceny of livestock under statute is a third-degree felony, and it doesn't matter if it's a $50 goat or a $2,000 bull. Larceny of livestock is a third-degree felony, and so we still see quite a bit of it. We currently probably have 4 or 5 cases in the prosecution channels right now. 2 of those cases involved cattle that were loaded up at a New Mexico ranch and taking to sale barns in Texas. And so we've done a lot of work over the last 2 years trying to close that gap on cattle leaving the state of New Mexico and being sold in another state. And we've worked closely with the inspectors in Texas and the Texas Rangers to close that gap that we knew existed. And so we've had quite a bit of luck with that in the last 2 years. And so yes, rustling or larceny of livestock is alive and well.
The agency is actually governed by a board, and it consists of 9 members. And those 9 members are appointed by the governor, and they come from all different aspects of the livestock industry. We have our actually chairwoman is a sheep rancher, and we have cattle ranchers, equine people. We have just a member of the public as well. And it is mandated by state statute that they come from both political parties. My years in the government has taught me that you need to keep evolving with time. And part of that, of course, is technology. And we're, our IT team, as well as Sean and Doc and I and our legal counsel, we are working every day to move our IT and our technology forward. During the last legislative session, they did mandate lapel cameras, so we have 90 days to enact that for our law enforcement officers. That law includes us as well.
We're in the southern New Mexico border, and this is the largest live animal crossing in the United States. It's a facility dedicated for import and export of animals to and from Mexico, and also from Canada and parts north to Mexico. The reason we're here and the number of animals that we cross a year is, last year we topped it at 548,000. What crosses here are steers and spayed heifers for the feed industry, the grow yard industry. We're important for commerce, international commerce. We are a very small percentage of the overall kill that happens in the grow yards or the different yards going for the commerce to feed the American public. The USDA works on the Mexican side to ensure that all animals coming into our country, the United States, are safe and free of any kind of ectoparasites, any diseases, just like their counterpart from the USDA, which is SAGARPA. They work on the American side to ensure that anything being imported into their country is free of ectoparasites or any type of diseases. So we work in unison with all the government agencies along the border. We work very closely with the New Mexico Livestock Board. All animals that are brought over into this facility must have an inspection by the New Mexico Livestock Board inspector, and then they are, as to the point of destination, they get certified, and then they can leave the facility at night on board one of these pots. Otherwise, they can't leave. If the New Mexico Livestock Board does not certify them, then certify where they're going to, then they don't leave the facility until the Livestock Board certifies that.
Well, I supervise 10 to 11 inspectors, full-time inspectors. The majority of my districts, which are essentially along county lines, are what we call single inspector districts, meaning there's only one inspector in that district or that county. So my job is to support them, whatever they need. It's my job to give them the tools and resources that they need to do their jobs and take care of the producers. We probably fly under the radar a lot as an agency and individually our inspectors in the field. And I would just say that the inspectors that we have in the field are tremendous people, and they do a fantastic job. They work hard for very little recognition. Most people never see them, except maybe pass them going down the road. And I would say that they really go unnoticed, but what they do for the producers and consumers in the state of New Mexico is invaluable.
I've been in the farm and ranching business for 35 years. We work with the Livestock Board normally on a weekly basis. We ship cattle, and we get cattle in almost every week. We appreciate the New Mexico Livestock Board. They make our job easy for what we do, and I've never felt like they were out here trying to hindrance what we were doing, and we've always gotten along with them really good. And we always, anytime we ship cattle, we call them and get them to come help or come out, and I feel like we just feel like they're kind of a part of the daily shipping, and we really appreciate that they treat us with respect, and they just come out and do their jobs, and they don't try to make it something bigger than what it is.
I can tell you that where I want to see this agency go, the New Mexico Livestock Board was a law enforcement agency before any other law enforcement agency in the state. The Cattle Sanitary Board, the Sheep Sanitary Board that involved into the Livestock Board was some of the most highly respected people in this state and the positions and the work that they did. So I want to ensure when I leave here that we still hold that legacy, that we're highly respected throughout the state and people really appreciate what we do every day. Most states don't have the brand and enforcement that we have in this state. We're very proud of that. And our producers reap that reward from us by being well protected from both theft and disease.